it's hard to leave. But if you've got to leave New York, Perth's not a bad place to have to come back to. But it was hard to leave. Perth might be a little tad quieter, that's all. Anyway, by the time you watch this, I should have finished the resulting exhibition, A Window to New York. I've been painting the Australian bush for most of my life, and so to paint the urban landscape of the Big Apple represented brand new and exciting challenges. But a few problems along the way as well. With all that detail, all of those straight lines, you don't see straight lines in the bush, but there's plenty of them in New York. Those Impressionists had it down with their big broad brush approach, getting rid of all that detail, and I was looking for something similar, but not the same. A year or so before, I'd arrived in New York in January. It was freezing cold, and I went on one of these touristy cruises on the Circle Line around Manhattan, just to get my bearings. And it was so cold, it was below freezing outside, and we had all of these touristy types like myself inside, breathing away, and we misted all the windows up. And there it was my answer. These beautiful misted windows giving that diffused look of New York, breaking down all of that detail, giving it an abstract look, which was in fact totally figurative. I'd used this method many years before on a winter trip to the Hawkesbury River. The same thing presented itself to me on the houseboat, where the windows misted up and it just broke down the image beautifully. So as soon as I saw that as a vehicle to represent my windows to New York. The transient rarely glimpse reality, and by that I mean we visitors to somewhere like New York really just see the surface of New York. We don't get down to the nitty-gritty. There's a certain veil between us and the reality of what's going on in New York. And in that regard, I find this another vehicle to represent that we are actually looking through a screen, a window, a misty window, and can't quite see all the detail. Most of us as kids have drawn a smiley face on a wet window. Well, this kid's still doing it. Not just smiley faces, but some of the iconic buildings in New York. It's a useful vehicle just to simplify that whole structure and again give the painting a slightly abstract feel. In thinking about how to represent a wet window on a landscape, there's two ways of going about this, at least two ways. One is just to paint a wet, scruffy window and add detail. The other one is to paint all the detail underneath and then glaze over that. So all the information's actually there, but you start to obscure it. So I've tried both of those. Some of these paintings have everything under there for you to find if you want to look hard enough. The others work the other way around, where I've started in a loose form and just added some details. I do like the idea that I'm not giving you all the information, but it gives you a little scope for your mind to add the details. One of the more interesting processes I've employed is to get my camping gear out and cook up a batch of wax. That's beeswax, melted with some oil paint added and then glazed over the painting that way. It gives a beautiful translucent texture. It's great to work into and it's great to work over. I don't know how my baked beans are going to taste down the line, but I'll live with it. Apart from the grand structures all over New York, I was also very interested in trying to represent some of the intimate corners of our local neighbourhood, which happened to be Brooklyn. So in the detail behind those glazed windows, I've taken on subjects like our local gourmet deli and the subway we used just about every day. I guess quite literally this exhibition will, especially in time, represent my memory of New York. This old brain is a little misty these days. But I hope you have the opportunity, if you haven't already, to visit this magnificent city and see it through your own window. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy my window to New York.